It's very important that you understand infrastructure planning, how to plan your infrastructure, how to begin with the end in mind. So first of all, we want to set up a solid defense. If we're working backwards from the desired result, the first thing we want to do is set up a solid defense. The second thing we want to do is set up our infrastructure to afford us victory in battle, to make sure that we win. Now, victory in battle comes from being well prepared internally. Always. This is a basic rule of life. Victory or winning comes from being well prepared internally. So you want to build cities according to the fertility of the earth. A good example of this in business would be you wouldn't want to set up shop or start a business in a place where there's no market for that. You wouldn't want to open a Ferrari dealership in the ghetto, right? You need to construct city walls according to the terrain. Plan your defenses. Set up your defensive infrastructure according to the situations around you, according to the terrain and the situations around you. The size of cities should be based on the population. And the size of the population should be in accord with the amount of grain available. What's that mean? Let's go back to a business example. During the 90s, if you remember the sort of dot-com bubble, one of the problems that you saw a lot of these companies getting into is that they weren't profitable, but they were receiving, lots of these companies were receiving a lot of venture capital investment, a large influx of venture capital. So they weren't profitable, but they had cash flow. They had money coming in the form of venture capital. And they'd ramp up and staff up, but they'd overstaff. Their staff and their infrastructure wasn't set up according or relative to their ability to gain profits, their ability to create benefit for everybody within the organization. So ultimately, even though they had a large initial cash flow, even though they had a lot of money coming in at first, these businesses failed because they didn't plan their infrastructure based on the size of the population, and they didn't create their population in accord with the amount of grain available, with the amount of resources available, with the amount of fuel available.